In 1995, an 8-year-old girl was found murdered in Toronto, Ontario. Her case remains cold to this very day. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. For those of you that are new, welcome, and for those of you that are returning subscribers, thank you for clicking on the video, and I hope that all of you enjoy it. I would like to give a disclaimer for this video. This video is about the murder of a very young girl that took place in Toronto, Ontario. If this is not something for you or it's a trigger, please click out of the video and take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Late afternoon on Friday, February 25th, 8-year-old Judy Carter would go missing from Cabbagetown in Toronto, Ontario. The search that ensued was considered to be the biggest of its time. Witnesses had told police that Judy had gone to her friend's house from school to read comic books, Cecil and Teddy Lee. These two brothers had told police that Judy had left their house around 6 o'clock at night. The brothers said they last saw her heading east on Winchester towards Parliament on her way home to Metcalfe Street, which was about 2 blocks away. Little did anyone know that little Judy Carter would not make it home that day. When it got to around 4:30 in the afternoon, Judy's mom really started to worry because Judy was normally home around this time. When Judy's stepfather got home from work about 5 o'clock, he started to worry as well, and so he started calling neighbors, classmates, friends to see if anybody had seen Judy, heard from her, any sightings at all. So William went out on his own and started looking for her. But when he didn't find her, he ended up contacting police and reporting her missing. By Monday, Judy's mom had lost all hope to the point of telling reporters that she didn't think her daughter was alive. She thought that her daughter had been lured into some car by a sex fiend and that she must be dead. A search party of 500 people were out looking for Judy. This search party was made up of firefighters, police officers, off-duty police officers, Boy Scouts, just other members of the public, friends and family. Even Judy's principal from her school was among the search party. Like, this search party was huge, and they searched a 38 square foot area, and they went at it for 10 straight days. They couldn't find a trace of her. Judy's description was given to police and members of the public in hopes that someone had seen her. Her description was 4 foot tall, 80 pounds, brown hair, missing a front tooth, and she was wearing a bonnet-style hat. Witnesses later told police that there was a terrified girl on the King Street streetcar with a man in his mid-60s with 3 fingers. That same night, another witness came forward and said that she saw Judy in a cafe at Bathurst College with a 3-fingered man. Police did investigate, but nothing came of it. The calls continued to pour in. It was like everybody was seeing little Judy all over Toronto. And what really impressed me with this case was that detectives actually followed up on every single lead. On March 4th, 1955, Judy's parents were contacted by kidnappers with a ransom note. If they wanted to see their precious little Judy again, they were going to have to pay out $15,000. In 1955, I'm sure that was a crap ton of money. Here's the weird thing to me. The kidnappers had instructed Judy's parents to put the $15,000 in a lunch pail. I don't even know if that much would fit in a lunch pail back then. But that's new. Never heard of that one. Lunch pail, huh? Judy's parents were to place this lunch pail underneath a truck at Bloor and Dufferin. The McCoys weren't idiots. They called the police right away and said, yeah, kidnappers, they gave us a note. Lunch pail, $15,000. What do you want us to do? And the police actually instructed the McCoys to grab a bunch of newspapers and tear them up into the size of the size that the bills would be, like a dollar bill would be, and to stuff the lunch pail full of the newspaper. Then Judy's parents were to place this lunch pail where the kidnappers had instructed them, and police instantly began surveilling the drop-off location. About half an hour before leaving home to make the drop, Judy's stepfather got a phone call from the kidnapper, who seemed to be quite upset, and he let Mr. McLeod know that, hey, my lunch pail should be full of money by now. Judy's stepdad dropped off the lunch pail as instructed. Detective watched it in the hopes that someone would show up to pick it up, and no one showed. It turned out that it was just like some sicko playing a really insanely cruel joke on her parents. Judy's mom was so devastated that she ended up being admitted to the hospital. A month later, 27 kilometers away, two boys were fishing along the banks of the Rouge River in Unionville, which is now Markham, Ontario. These little boys stumbled across a little girl's body. It seemed apparent to police that Judy had been strangled by her abductor, thrown over the bridge into the river, floated downstream quite a distance, eventually ending up on a creek bed. An autopsy revealed that Judy had been strangled with her own scarf, and the cuts were so deep, but they didn't find any other marks on her body, and she was still wearing her little bonnet hat. She was fully clothed when she was found, thank God. So there was no evidence of an SA. That was actually also later determined during the autopsy. The stumbling block to this case is that a young girl was murdered, a little 8-year-old girl, but in cold blood. But what was the motive? Like, who should the police be looking at? Who should they be looking for? Police had a theory. Judy was enticed into a car by a man who happened to be a thrill killer. When Judy's mom was informed of what happened to her daughter, she said that her only hope now was that they would find the person that did it so that it didn't happen to anybody else. She didn't want anyone else to have to go through what her and her husband had just gone through. Judy was then buried at Mount Pleasant Cemetery. However, the investigation continued. So here's where it gets interesting, and I really want to know your thoughts on this next part of the case. Police believe that they located the murder site about half mile downstream from where Judy's body was found. Now, the interesting part here is that at the same location, there just happened to be a work site where trees were being cleared. This crew that was clearing the trees just so happened to be at this work site on the day that Judy went missing. A property manager by the name of Joseph Easton happened to be there with his crew clearing trees on this day that Judy disappeared. Allegedly, the morning after Judy's disappearance, Joseph Easton told police that he had returned to the worksite to pick up tools that he had left behind. While doing so, he just happened to notice a red mitten laying on the ground and tire tracks in the dirt. So, as any other normal person would do, he picked up the red mitten and decided to take it home with him so that he could then burn it. Police questioned Easton about this and asked him, why would you burn the mitten? Why would you pick up the mitten, take it home, and set it on fire? And Easton actually responded with, I didn't think it was important. I didn't connect it to the missing girl. Police believed that the mitten belonged to Judy, but their theory was that a random man had abducted her, brought her to the clearing, strangled her, then put her body back into their vehicle and drove down quite a ways to a bridge and dumped her body over the bridge into the creek below. Here's a twist. On the same day that Easton found the mitten that we believe belonged to Judy, Judy's stepdad decided that he was going to voluntarily take a lie detector test. However, this lie detector test was going to take place in Buffalo, New York. Buffalo police did invite Toronto detectives to come and witness the lie detector test. I understand why he would have done it. There were rumors swirling around that Judy's parents had had something to do with her disappearance, so he really just wanted to clear up the rumors and clear his name. Completely get it. If he's innocent. The thing is, you're volunteering for a lie detector test? That would be nerve-wracking in itself. I don't know. I'd probably get so nervous that I'd probably just fail. And then everybody's going to think that you're the killer because you were nervous. I just don't trust those things. Maybe this part isn't so weird, but Judy's mom also decided to take a lie detector test. I'm going to guess that that was also to clear her name. This part's weird. The results of the lie detector tests were sent to Toronto's chief detectives, but they were never released to Judy's parents or to the public. Police never did track down the three-fingered man, but for 68 straight years, they have been convinced that he is their guy. To police, the three-fingered man was the man that murdered little Judy Carter on that cold winter day in 1955. So as you can tell, this case remains cold. No arrests were ever made for the murder of Judy Carter. Don't you wish DNA testing was available back then? There could have been some justice for poor little Judy. Who do you think did it? I'm leaning towards Joseph Easton. He doesn't have an alibi. He went back to the scene of the crime. Why would you take a mitten? It wouldn't even fit you. Why would you take this little girl's mitten and just randomly take it home and I'm just going to take this home and burn it? Who the fuck does that? Nobody does that. So I'm leaning towards him. Let me know your thoughts because I am curious to know who you think did it. Did you think Easton did it? Do you think that Judy's stepfather did it? I don't know. Burning a mitten? Lie detector test results that are just undisclosed? Three-fingered man? Who did it? You guys tell me. I hope you enjoyed the story. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.